My name is Matt, and I review retro games. Like anyone who's into gaming on YouTube, I'm a huge fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he's one of my biggest influences. But unlike a number of his audience, I enjoy most of those turds he rips apart, and that's why I now don the moniker of the LJN Defender! Hey everyone, it's that time you've all been waiting for. Time for me to take on the mantle of the Defender once again and show that there is gold to be found at the end of the rainbow. This time though, I'm going back to basics. No green screen, just me in front of my Super Nintendo and Genesis games. Which is fitting since the topic of today's episode is a Super Nintendo release. It recently dawned on me that I've been talking about nothing but the NES on this channel since October, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break from my favorite console by putting the spotlight on everyone's favorite safety-first mascots, the incredible Crash Dummies. Anyone from my generation and earlier should remember the incredible Crash Dummies, but for the sake of my younger viewers, it was a franchise that was popular in the 80s and 90s that spun off from a PSA designed to educate children about the importance of seatbelts. The PSAs, created by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, starred Vince and Larry, two dummies who constantly violated seatbelt laws, being in their nature and all, and their irresponsible behavior would result in wreck after wreck. At the end of each ad, the iconic tagline would pop up saying,
"You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt."
The ads would strike a nerve with the kiddies, and upon seeing the merchandising potential, Tyco created a line of toys based on the property. Eventually, after the network stopped airing the PSAs since they functioned as advertisements for the toys, Vince and Larry were replaced by Slick and Spin, and that's where the game comes into the picture. Actually, games. The Crash Dummies were released on many consoles during the 90s, but only the Game Boy, NES, and Super Nintendo versions were published by LJN. Each one is completely different from each other, and they all have redeeming qualities to them. But I'll go into these two at some other time during their own episodes. For now, let's just focus on the Super Nintendo version. Released in October 1993 and developed by Grey Matter, this incredible Crash Dummies is a traditional platformer. The logo appropriately crashes into the screen, accompanied by a nice up-tempo ditty. It seems that we're off to a good start, but we can't judge a book by its cover, so let's begin the playthrough. As mentioned previously, Slick and Spin, not Vince and Larry, are the stars of Incredible Crash Dummies. The story involves Dr. Zub warning the boys about stopping the evil Junkman from discovering the powerful secrets of his T-9000 torso. Blatant Terminator ripoff aside, Slick and Spin try to relieve the Doc's concerns by saying that Junkman is too stupid to learn how to do that. Only Zub himself could take care of that for him, and before Slick and Spin can put their shoes in their big dumb mouths, Junkman crashes through the complex. He rams into the dummies, blowing them to pieces, and kidnaps Zub. Our heroes pull themselves together, cracking many groaner puns in the process, and Slick volunteers to go rescue the good doctor. Slick exits stage left, and it's time for level 1. The first couple levels pretty much serve as practice areas. They're designed to get the player ready for what lies ahead, and they definitely feel like beginner-friendly levels. However, Slick still encounters a ton of obstacles in his way to the spring that propels him to the next zone. Bikers, bouncing tires, and sentient parking meters. All this and more stand between Slick and the exit. It's situations like this where being a dummy comes in handy. If Slick takes damage, he doesn't die right away like the heroes in the majority of platformers. Instead, he loses a limb with each hit. It starts with one leg, then the other, then an arm, followed by the other arm. At this point, Slick is just a torso and a head bobbing along, and if he's hit again in this condition, then it's off to the crash site in the sky. Slick says something as he dies, but I've never been able to figure out what it is. To me, it sounds like he's either saying grass, but dragging it out to 2 syllables, or giraffes. I don't know. If anyone out there knows, please post it in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Fortunately for the indecipherable amputee, Slick's lost limb problem isn't a permanent issue, and all it takes is to collect one or more of the screwdrivers to get him back to his normal state. Even if there are no screwdrivers to be found, our dummy hero can get around pretty well by scooting along with his arms or hopping on one leg. He kind of reminds me of Lil Brother from the Homestar Runner universe.
Yo! Little brother! That little guy! He's got the heart of a champion!
Ah, that Homestar. He's such a sensitive soul. Hey, Homestar, what do you think about old Slick over here?
Oh, it's like I said. The heart of a champion!
Anyway, now that we're past that emotional roller coaster, let's discuss some of the other items to be picked up across the level. The most common are the yellow crash targets. A single yellow crash target increases the total score by 300 points, and factor in the multitudes of these littered around each location, and the score will be vastly multiplied by the time Slick crosses the finish line. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, there really isn't any extra significance to them than that. I never gained additional lives because I had a certain number of points, so these really don't serve any useful purpose. The next common item is the wrenches. The wrenches are Slick's main means of attack against foes and obstacles, and they're tossed out by pressing Y. A hit from one wrench can take out the majority of the enemies, but unfortunately they're limited in number. On the plus side, they're even more common than the screwdrivers, so even if you run out of wrenches at a crucial section, there will most likely be more just around the corner. Of course, if the wrenches do run completely out, Slick is not completely defenseless against the Junkman's minions. Like many platformers before and after it, he can jump on top of his opponents and stomp them into pieces. This can be just as powerful as the wrench, but since he has to get up close for the attack to be effective, it leaves our hero much more vulnerable to damage. Believe it or not, there is yet another adversary to be fought in each level, one that is much trickier to overcome. The timer. That's right, there's a countdown clock in the upper left-hand corner that constantly looms over Slick, ticking down each second until doomsday. The amount of time varies from stage to stage, depending on how complex each is. The longer stages obviously have more on the counter, and the more straightforward ones have a shorter amount. As Slick's mission progresses, it can be a real pain to make it through in one piece while being mindful of the digits persistently dropping one by one. It's a struggle to find the balance between rushing through the stage to make it to the exit before time runs out, while also being careful not to run headfirst into a premature death. There is relief from this in the form of the blue crash targets. Apparently these add 10 seconds to the timer, but I didn't realize this until I read the manual after I had completed capturing footage. As mentioned previously, the parking lot stages are pretty routine. The tires are easy to avoid, as are the cars that drop down and spread parts everywhere. The first real struggle comes in the crash center itself. There are way more obstacles than enemies to avoid. Bad guy dummies, bomb-dropping planes, and falling light fixtures, not to mention the electric floor pits. It's in this section where we're introduced to two of the essential elements in the dummy survival guide, the slide and the ability to float. The slide can be performed at any time by pressing down and right or down and left diagonal. Doing so will let our heroes escape past tight corners, but be careful to keep the buttons held. Letting go too early will cause him to lose both of his legs in the ensuing accident. The floating ability, on the other hand, can only be done after collecting the necessary power-up, which looks kind of like the A in the Avengers logo. Doing so will make Slick bulge out like a blimp, and he can temporarily maneuver freely anywhere around a level. Some of the later levels really put this to the test, so it's best to get acquainted with it early on. One other neat trick that the crash dummies can do is accomplished by pressing and holding down. Doing so will make the dummy collapse into a pile of pieces. This is supposed to function as a ducking mechanic, but I never really found it to be all that useful. There's a mild amusement factor to be gained from seeing Slick break apart at will, but the novelty wears off pretty quick. Making it past the crash center leads to the first boss of the game, which the manual tells me is called Sideswipe. Sideswipe's determined to take out Slick with the help of his Whiskmobile. It may look intimidating, but it's really not. Just clobber him with wrench after wrench and then keep jumping on the roof of the machine and it will be demolished in no time. This is good, since the developers, in their infinite wisdom, deemed that all the boss fights should be defeated in just over a minute. I suppose they had a point though, since the bosses really aren't that hard, but the additional pressure of having to destroy them in 60 seconds stressed me out to the max in the later battles. Walloping the Whiskmobile leads to the first bonus area, where the protagonist gets behind the wheel of a wrecker and has to avoid gas cans, cones, and other hazards. A new bonus section pops up after each boss fight, and minus the vehicle changing each time, the formula remains the same. With each piece of debris avoided, the speed gets faster and faster, and it becomes really tough to avoid hitting them. Managing to chain together a large enough safety combo will net the player with a 1-up as a reward. This is crucial to collect, as the journey is about to get a lot bumpier. After each bonus area, a new cutscene plays, and they're really no more than an excuse to shoehorn in some PSA messages about traffic safety and buckling seatbelts with plenty of groaner humor tossed in. They're completely stupid, but also kind of funny. Don't get me wrong, they're dumb. Really dumb. But sometimes it's fun to laugh at a completely cornball joke. Once the cutscene is completed, it's on to the next round of destruction. From the construction site, where the floatability is really put to the test by the barrage of flying robotic heads and saw blades that are everywhere, to the artillery range, which fully lives up to its name, the game escalates in difficulty with each passing section. It should be perfectly clear by now, Incredible Crash Dummies is incredibly hard. It's one of those games that requires trial and error to figure out the best and quickest way to get to the goal. But that's okay though, since of course we have plenty of continues to help us do that, right? Nope, we have none. Incredible Crash Dummies is one of those typical 3 lives, no continues titles, so the word of the day is brutal, especially in regards to the last level. The junk castle is insane. There's poisonous slime dripping from the ceiling, slime pits on the ground, and protruding painful spikes, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The developers tossed in everything they had in their bag of tricks and the kitchen sink. Did I mention it was insane? Because yeah, it's totally bonkers, and you better bring everything you've got or else it's back to the title screen. Believe me, I know. I have tons of deleted footage of failure runs. It makes me shudder just thinking about it. Managing to get past the spiky hell will lead into yet another hell. The final battle with the Junkman. The villain, riding in his jumbo junkbot, has 2 forms. A Bigfoot-esque truck with a boxing glove launcher, and, for lack of a better term, a terrifying transformer. Even though there are 2 parts to this battle, the player still has to take them both out in a little over a minute! This is quite a formidable challenge. But I'm not one to back down from a little difficulty, so let's show Junkman what's what! Yeah, come on, yeah. Alright, take those wrenches. You take those wrenches, Junkman. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Oh, come on. I'm losing limbs rapidly. Oh, man, this is no good. No, man, I just got a couple hits left to do. Oh, man, no. Come on, do it. No. Okay. Let's give this another try. Okay. I'm jumping on you, Junkman. You ain't nothing. You and your junk bot. I don't care. I'm gonna jump on you and bring you into Salvation, Terminator, Salvation, Genesis, whatever. All that stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm losing limbs. No, jump. Oh, no, I can't afford to lose. No, I need to do this. Come on. No, I lost. No. No, I lost. No. Oh, no. Oh. Oh man, that title screen theme. Now, don't get me wrong, I like it and the rest of the soundtrack by Peter Stone, but after hearing it for the umpteenth billionth time after getting a game over, it started to grate on my nerves. Anyway, I'm not gonna quit, so let's give this another go! Game face, getting the game face on, that's right, oh yes. Junkman, you are going down this time, there's no doubt about it. Here we go. Oh, actually, it's doing pretty good, I got a few branches left, okay, so let's do it. Let's use that in the second form, okay. Okay, it's starting to go pretty well. Okay, hey, maybe I have a fighting chance with this. Okay, well, you know, let's keep on doing this. Let's keep it up. Let's keep the pressure on. And yes! Yeah, I did it! Woo! Yeah! Take that, Junkman! Dummies win! Slick and spin! They kick your ass! Take that, you sucker! Woo! After the Junkman is defeated, Slick punts his head for a field goal and the two dummies are reunited with Dr. Zub. The trio head back to the lab and the world can sleep soundly knowing the Junkman will never discover the secret of the T-9000. Sure, Junkman is totally gone for good. There's absolutely no way he's gonna pop out and swear revenge upon... Ha! I knew it! You can never keep a Junkman down! If I had to sum up Incredible Crash Dummies in one phrase, it would be... hard as a Mr. Falcon. I posted about this on Twitter, saying that I found it tougher to beat than Jekyll and Hyde and Nightmare on Elm Street and Sunday Funday. And I stick by that. Jekyll and Hyde and Sunday Funday had unlimited continues, so while those games can be quite hard, they can be beaten with enough skill and perseverance. As for A Nightmare on Elm Street, sure its limited continues make it a bit hard, but at least it has continues. Seeing this to the end is the real nightmare. To put it another way, it took me 4 nights of attempts to beat Nightmare, whereas this only took me 2, but I was near the end of my rope by that second night. Regardless of the difficulty, I still think Incredible Crash Dummies is a very enjoyable title. It's not one of the best platformers for the Super Nintendo, but I would rate it as above average. The developers really took the concept and ran with it, and I applaud them for it. I really appreciate how they incorporated the loss of limbs as a sort of health meter. Plus, the controls are very tight and responsive. Granted, there were some spots where I missed a jump, but that was more on me than the controls themselves. Most of the deaths that I experienced were due to my inexperience with the sections at the time. Once I had them down, I zipped by with ease. To wrap things up, Incredible Crash Dummies is another fun yet frustrating platformer, and anyone who owns a Super Nintendo should definitely pick it up. It shouldn't cost all that much. In fact, I got mine from Amazon. I had a gift card and took a blind risk from a Goodwill seller on there. The description wasn't very detailed, but the price was right. I had no idea that I'd end up with a box copy complete with poster and everything for less than $6 shipped. Isn't that awesome? You've gotta love deals like that. So, until next time, when the rainbow signal shines in the sky and another tarnished title's reputation needs to be restored, this is the Defender, signing out. As always, thanks for watching. If you didn't see it on my Twitter or Facebook or at the top of my YouTube channel, this is actually the first video as part of my new schedule. I'm going to be starting to put out a video every other Wednesday. So basically, this video is out on a Wednesday, so you're going to wait a week, there's going to be no video next week, and then after that, there'll be a video. It'll be a video on the 21st. It'll be a Cygnus Storage Retro Review. It'll be a pretty good one. Fun game. Or games, I'm not saying, but you'll see it then. It'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, check it out. Now, until then, you can watch some of these videos here. Now, on the upper left, well, because I'm going to be doing Cygnus Storage Retro Reviews for that time, I figured I might as well link a Cygnus Storage Retro Reviews. This one is my review of The Adventures of Willie Beamish for the Sega CD. The game that was pretty special to me, for reasons that you'll see in the video, or it should have been special to me, but you'll see, I won't ruin it, but check it out, it's a good video. Now, on the upper right hand side, that is my playlist for the Wisdom Tree Bible Games event from last month, from December, if you didn't see that. So that was a lot of fun. I think you'll like it. So just, if you didn't see it, just click the box there and it'll be the playlist. It'll start you from the Bible Buffet episode and go up to the Bible Adventures one. It's a lot of fun. You'll like it. Click there if you want to see it. Now, on the lower left-hand side, it's another LJN Defender. I figured if you're new to the series, well, you can get a little more caught up. And that one right there is the review of The Punisher, which is a good game, good, based off the Marvel comic, developed by Beam Software. Good stuff. One of my favorite LJN games. So check that out. And for anybody else who is new to the channel, if you like what you see, click that box right there, that red box that says subscribe on it, and it'll subscribe you to the channel, and you'll be kept up to date with all my newest content. So remember, next video will be on the 21st, will be a Cygnus Storage Retro Review, but until then, you can enjoy these videos, and just have a good time, everybody, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye!